Hi, you're watching EAC Insight. I'm your host, Anthony Ellis. Well, today's special guest is a special lady. There's not many ambassadors here are females. She's very close between Cambodia and this country. They have a special relationship where the Prime Minister just visited not long ago Miss Cuba, an ambassador from Cuba, Miss
Liurka
Rodríguez.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for coming to our embassy and resident of Cuba. It's a pleasure to me.
Thank you. Now, a bit of your history. You've been with diplomatic relations for the last 20 years, 4 years or 8 years in total in Vietnam, with 2 stages, and also
Haiti,
yep.
Indonesia, Malaysia. The majority of the time have been in Vietnam during 8 years, but in different moments, 2 years before, after 2, and the last one 4, as a deputy head of mission.
Yeah.
And that means that I have a close relationship with the Asian country, and for me it's easy to work here because, of course, all the countries are different, but the region is the same. There are some culture details that they share, and it's easy to me. And in Cuba, normally I work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Asian division also.
But your history is the same as mine. You were a journalist.
Yes, I studied journalism in the University of Havana in Cuba, and I tried to make work as a journalist in the same time that I was a student. And when I came to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, immediately after finishing my school, the university school, I started to work as a diplomat, but also try to do journalism, because it's a profession that you never forget. And in diplomacy, for example, is very important, because normally we prepare press release, we work with the social media, we participate in interview with journalists. This is something that there are some things that they are similar in diplomacy and journalism, and I enjoy so much, of course.
And Cuba and Cambodia have a special relationship where the Prime Minister late last year visited Cuba. But while you were ambassador here, you're the only ambassador that had something special happen.
I think this is a very good moment for all of us. We have a very good relationship, Cuba and the Kingdom of Cambodia, from the past. Nothing is new. Yeah. This is from the past, more than 60 years. It's because our relationship is based in respect, in common goal of peace and progress, yes, despite geographical distance. And last year has been very special for our relationship. I think this was like a milestone, because for the first time in the history in Cuba, I don't know in Cambodia, in other countries, but in Cuba, one prime minister go to Cuba, and the Prime Minister from Cuba came here. That means that the difference was 1 week. It's historical thing for us, but it's proof that our relationship has a history, and we are interested to promote the relationship in all the field. Because in political type, of course, we have a very good relationship, but we want to improve in other areas, like, for example, agriculture, sport, medicine, education, of course, from the past. Sport is consolidated as a pillar of our relationship. You know, here in Cambodia, for example, there are some professors helping the athletes in order to participate in the SEA Games, volleyball, and they are coached here, 2 of them, and maybe in the future some more will come to here to Cambodia. It means that we have a very good relationship. People ask how is possible 2 countries so distant, geographically, culturally, with the language, a lot of difference, but we have a willingness to to improve our relationship because always we support each other.
Well, the old saying, when you love someone, distance doesn't mean anything. And I think relationships with countries who have gone through a lot of bad times, and now going through good times, and the friendship, distance is nothing.
Of course. And during the pandemic, COVID-19, we were celebrated our 60th anniversary of our diplomatic relationship during 2020. And we had a lot of plans to celebrate the moment. Prime Minister planning to go to Cuba in March 2020. We prepared a lot of things to celebrate, but unfortunately, the COVID-19 stopped all of our plans. And all of us said, the solidarity is immune to virus.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah.
The friendship, the solidarity, it don't matter the situation around the world. If the friendship is strong, it will be strong forever.
But that's correct. Speaking of COVID, obviously you were here during COVID, and how do you think Prime Minister Hun Sen handled Cambodia during the COVID time?
I think that during the COVID-19, Cambodia was a country around the world that managed very well the situation of COVID-19. All the diplomats said that we were safe in this country, and we follow all the rules of the government. Of course, we are here, we have to follow. And it was, for example, only one example here in my embassy, no one was infected with COVID-19 because we follow the rule of the government, because they know about it. Exactly. And I am so happy, for example, Dr. Orban Dean, was a spoke lady. She went to Cuba last month. Yeah. And I told to my friend and, of course, all the authorities that said she is the most important person during COVID-19 that informed us how to follow everything in order to avoid the contamination, and we thanks, of course, all the support of the government, to all the diplomats and the expats, because they provide for free vaccine to all of us, and they always ask us about our feeling, how they could do for us. And I think that we were safe here during I am sure that we were safe here during those difficult years.
Even with the statistics, I mean, there was a lot of statistics said that Cambodia was in the top 10 in the Nikkei. But I think, as being an expat here, we felt it ourselves. We weren't discriminated because where we come from. We were given the opportunities to have the vaccine exactly the same time as the local people in the second dose, third dose. Now I think we're up to our 6th dose now, where of course the government encourages you, but it was free, and you could, as long as you followed the 3 do's and 3 don'ts, you were safe. You're healthy. Of course. And we see around the world, in other countries around the world, unfortunately, had protests and had bad situations. Never felt like that here.
Yeah, it was like this.
Yeah. So with other relationships, what projects do you have coming up now with Cambodia?
Yes, during the official visit, both the Prime Minister to Cuba and from Cambodia, and Prime Minister from Cuba, we signed some agreement, 5 agreements in different fields: political, diplomacy, sport, culture, medicine, in order to improve the relationship in those areas. And we think agriculture, for example, it seems that will be a very important field to develop cooperation between Cuba and Cambodia. Also medicine, as I noted before, a delegation from the Minister of Health from Cambodia went to Cuba in December to first to explore the opportunities to collaborate in that area, particularly in the primary cares in Cuba. Is is so developed this area, and Cambodia want to know how to implement as Cuba do in this moment. Also in the pharmaceutical field,
Okay.
you know, Cuba produce vaccine of different sickness, not only COVID-19, also all other sickness. Maybe Cambodia will be interested to have a, I don't know, we are exploring now the opportunity. And also in the treatment of cancer and diabetes. In Cuba, we developed this area also, and Cambodia want to know how Cuba does in this area, and we are cooperating in this moment, looking for the possibility to cooperate in this area. Also in sport, a delegation from the Ministry of Education went to Cuba in December and had the contact with the authority of the sector in order to continue promote the cooperation in this area, as I know, as a pillar of our relationship. Agriculture is other field.
Yep.
A delegation from Cambodia went to Cuba at the beginning of January and visit some field of rice cultivation in Cuba.
Yep.
In order, you know, Cambodia is very an important place.
Yeah, for exporting rice.
Yeah, export and rice. And you know, in Cuba, we eat rice like Cambodian and Vietnamese or Chinese. Because this is one of
main diet
one of the most important for food for us, and this is an opportunity also to cooperate. It means that we have a lot of plans based on our agreement, and in the frame of the agreement, we continue reinforce our relationship. And you know, in the political field also, Cambodia support the struggle of Cuba and the rest of the war against the U.S. blockade. Every year, the representation of Cambodia came to the Assembly, General Assembly in United Nations, and not only voting again, in favor of our resolution, also explain how the United States have to eliminate the blockades against Cuba. And in the past, of course, we support the struggle of Cambodian people, and we send a medical team in the 70 decade and 18. Some doctor came to here to work with the Cambodian doctor, and every year we offer to Cambodia a scholarship to study medicine.
Oh.
Now the last student traveled to Cuba 2 weeks ago, and now they are in this moment 7 students.
So 7 students studying doctorate in Cuba. Wow, that's fantastic.
And when they come back here, now they are some of the more than 200 Cambodians that study in Cuba, the majority in medicine, and they are working now at the hospital here in Cambodia, and they are so people know about the expertise of those doctors. Excellent.
Oh, that was fantastic. Also, you have some coaches here with the volleyball to teach the volleyball team?
Yes, volleyball inside and volleyball beach.
Oh, beach volleyball as well. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Of course, prepare for the SEA Games, which is coming up in May.
Yeah, yes. And last year in October, a Cuban volleyball team, sub 70 years, came here to have a friendly match with the national team of volleyball in Cambodia, and they had some match of preparation in order for the Cambodian team, but also for our athletes, because they got the opportunity to know how the Asian play volleyball, but also young people to know about Cambodia. They were the first big delegation of young people from Cuba to visit here Cambodia, and they were so all of them say it's amazing. They didn't know about Cambodia. They know about Cambodia because of TV or something,
Of
but
course, yeah.
to see and to exchange with people, it was very important for us because we also are interested to promote the relationship between the young generation. That is the reason that from time to time I go to the university here in Cambodia and have a meeting with the student. 2 weeks ago, I visited the Royal University of Phnom Penh and had contact with a student. And last year, I went to the high school also. It was amazing. The student, even young students, know about Cuba, and we have to profit this knowledge in order to promote our relationship, but also to make more achievement in the way of continue promoting our relationship in the new generation, because we know that the majority of the authority has very good personal relation with Cuba, because they already have visited Cuba in the moment. From the 60s, they went to Cuba in different delegations. Even Prime Minister Hun Sen visited Cuba 4 times.
Wow.
He knows about Cuba, and we are very happy with all the improvement.
Of course, because Cuba being a small country, it's not a big country like America where there's so much attention. Where a lot of prime ministers go, or presidents go, because of the fame of being, of course, America or anything like that. But such a humble country for a prime minister to visit so many times must mean it's very special.
Yeah, of course. For us, the relationship prime minister with Cuba is historical also. In 1999, Fidel Castro gave to him the most important condecoration from the state. Is Jose Marti Order. Put him in, and now when we went to Cuba, Prime Minister said that Fidel Castro was for him like a father. And it was amazing how he gave the respect to our historical leader. He visited the center of Center Fidel Castro. To preserve the memories of Fidel, and also Prime Minister could see all the things that the Cambodia gave to him. The medals, the
memorabilia things.
Yes, that they put in the frame, and he was very happy. There are a lot of pictures. Maybe I could send to you the picture because it was amazing. The respect. And beautiful, and we have the picture here in our embassy, because of course the visit was very important, because he exchanged with all the leaders in Cuba. But I think this momentos to go to Fidel Castro Center was very important for us. It touched my heart, and the other, the Cuban.
I can see through your smile.
Yes, because for us, and the friendship between Prime Minister Fidel Castro is a milestone of our relationship. When he visited Cuba in 1999, they talked about more than 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a lot of, from the beginning, the morning, at the end of the night. They talk a lot, and this is a thing that is very important to our relationship.
I think it is, when people can sit down and talk, and not for 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is, you learn nothing, and go for such a long time. It just shows you the close relationships. People, and it's not sitting there to work things out, it's to enjoy each other's time, I'm sure, to have a bit of a laugh and talk about things not important, but in life in general. And I think that's a big part in relationships. I think it's not with relationships with just 2 people. It doesn't matter what position on the ladder you are.
Of course, the respect is the most important. The admiration also, and the spirit of collaboration is very important.
That's it. Now, also, I mean, we have elections coming up this year. I was lucky enough, I covered the Sangkrat elections last year and interviewed with the observers. Everything was fine, the observers were happy. So this year in July we have elections and the Prime Minister is going to run again. Now, 38 years as Prime Minister, one of the longest Prime Minister, but he's looking to hand everything over to his son, Ahun Manet. How do you think he'll be as a Prime Minister?
I think this is an internal affair.
Yeah.
And Cuba never made an interference in the internal affairs of a country. It means that I can do nothing about it, not to say nothing, because this is an internal affairs.
Well, at the end of the day, the people know, of course, vote who they want to be in, and things will be fine. That's understandable. So the future with for you as the ambassador here, you have some new goals. You have goals coming up for this year. New projects.
The project is continue to support the promotion of our relationship, and we are working so hard in the field of agriculture. I think this year will be important for the collaboration in this field. And of course, we continue to looking for more opportunities, not only here in Cambodia, also in Cuba. And I think that our friendship will increase more and more. The Prime Minister recently sent a letter to my Prime Minister in Cuba in occasion of the 64th anniversary of our revolution in January, and he reconfirmed the disposition to continue increase our relationship. And we think that the relationship between Cuba and the Kingdom of Cambodia has a promising future.
Excellent. And how have you found living here in Cambodia yourself as a
Yes,
foreigner?
of course. I'm so happy to stay here. I came here with my family. My daughter came here when she was 8 years old, and now she's 11, and she's very happy. And also, I'm very happy here. It's easy to me. Not only the relationship with the authority, also with people here. I feel safe. I can go walk for wherever, and also I receive a smile from the Cambodian people. And sometimes they ask me, "Where are you from?" And I always say, when I said I'm from Cuba, I say, "Oh, Cuba, excellent, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara." I saw the picture of Che Guevara in tuk-tuk. Yeah, sometimes I take a picture and send to my friend to Cuba. You see, Cuba is everybody know about Cuba here in Cambodia.
And what's your next goal as Ms. Rodriguez? What are you looking for? You going to be here a bit longer as ambassador, or you look at something else, or?
No, I will stay here for the time that my government asked me to stay. And my duty always will be support the collaboration, and I continue my work as as diplomat because this is the thing that I want to do here in Cambodia or in other country. It doesn't matter, but in Cambodia I feel happy.
Yeah. Well, a role as an ambassador, people kind of not understand it 100% because they always think you work for them, but you're not actually working for the people, the expats in the countries.
Yes, of course, they are very important for us. The community of Cuban residents here is not so big here in Cambodia. It's small, but all the problems that they have, we try to help them, to support them. They come here to the embassy. We organize activity with them, and always they are our priority because they are a component of our country.
Excellent.
Of course.
And businesses here in Cambodia from Cuban, you have any businesses here?
And no exactly like business. So the Cuban that are here, they are by own self. They are not business like official
Okay.
mission, but they have some activities like musician, for example, or cook, or work in the tourism sector.
Yep.
But this is the area that we want to promote more collaboration and cooperation in the business area.
Okay. Any words of wisdom or encouragement to people in Cuba to visit Cambodia, and of course Cambodia to visit Cuba?
Well, we are working with the Agency of Tourism here in Cambodia in order to promote Cuba as a destiny. Cuba is an excellent destiny to go to enjoy a summer, for example. And last year we had some meeting with the Association of Tourist Agencies in order to support the idea to create in Cuba as a destiny, because they have some packets, I could say like this,
Packages, yeah,
Europe
different
or
packages,
other place, and they want to include Cuba in order that the Cambodian could visit Cuba. A lot of Cambodians ask me if it's easy to go to Cuba. I say, yes, it's easy. You can go, please go to enjoy our island. It's a friendly island, and a lot of things to do, beach culture, heritage, a lot of things to do in Cuba.
Cuba has a lot of heritage behind it, and they restored a lot of the heritage to bring it back. I have seen photos recently, and of course, even your vehicles, your cars. And I think that's one of my favourite things of Cuba is the restoration of most of the cars there to make them prestige like they were in the 60s and 50s. And of course, you've got lovely beaches as well, and the weather.
Of course.
It's quite nice. And the local people in Cuba seem very friendly, very similar to Cambodians.
Yes, we are very similar. We are very similar. And that these things could help to have a better relationship. And I think in the future, more Cambodians will go to Cuba to visit and to know about the island. It's so far, but it's easy to go because now aerial transportation facilitate the way to go, and in Cambodia fly a lot of company and they can fly to Cuba. And I think that we have to do more and more in order to promote Cuba as a tourist destiny, and we are doing, and I think that in the future will be one of the achievements of the work of the embassy also.
Excellent. And like I said, I have noticed a lot of the fantastic work you've done recently, but of course with COVID, it had put a halt and made things a bit harder. You didn't get to celebrate your special anniversary in 2020 because of that. But it hasn't stopped you from continuing and moving forward, and give you credit. That's very good.
Of course, we have to continue, because if we want to have a very good relationship, we have to do more and more things. And I hope that we are doing in this moment, and both Cuba and Cambodia are interested, and this is very important. The willingness from each other, we share the willingness, and that will be excellent for us.
Mrs. Rodriguez, thank you very much for your time today. Fantastic, and good luck to the future.
Thank you so much for coming to our residence. To me, have been a pleasure to have you here. It's good for me to share. Normally we share with the Cambodian journalists, but it's the first time that I have a foreign journalist here in my residence. It has been a pleasure to me.
Pleasure's mine, and hopefully we can continue our relationship with EAC News and the embassy. happy to help any way we can.
Okay, thank you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
So there we have it, Mrs. Rodriguez from the Cuban embassy. As we've noticed, as she mentioned, the close relationship between the two prime ministers from Cuba and Cambodia, where last year the visit of the Cuban Prime Minister visited Cambodia, and of course Prime Minister Hun Sen visited Cuba. And during the last year, a lot of delegates from Cambodia visited to look at different relationships on medical, education, agriculture, and moving forward, hopefully during the tourism. You're watching EAC Insight. I'm Anthony Ellis. Thanks for watching.